What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. We're going to be doing our cut test of the CJRB Ekko. Let's get into it. All right, so actually I say cut test, but we're really going to be kind of doing an updated overview slash cut test on this one because I already have had the CJRB Ekko with the AR RPM9 and titanium flat scales. This one is the S90V, and I don't know if that'll even show up at such small print. The S90V with the contoured scales and the fat carbon inlays. So I will link my review of the button lock Ekko because the only thing that's really different here is the blade steel and the slight contouring with the inlays. Everything else will still apply. Ergos will still apply. Size comparisons, all of that will still apply. I just kind of wanted to focus on the difference, and then I want to kick it down to the garage and we'll do a little bit of a cut test with it. So the contouring actually makes a nice touch. I don't know how well you'll be able to tell on camera, but the contouring of the scales is very minor. And another way that you can really tell that is when you look at the back piece here where it's flat, you see how it's already gone. If the scales were flat, and I'll bring my lander out because I have that. If the scales were flat, when you get to this point for the contouring, you can see that little lip. And then when you get to this point, you can't see that lip anymore. At this point, you can still see the other end of the lander. And even this far, you can see to the other end of the lander, you can see the screw on the top of both of these. And you see how it's a little bit higher and a little bit more proud, but it starts to get harder to see as you round that corner. It is a very slight contouring, but it is a nice touch. And for me, someone with the larger hands, it makes a difference how that feels in hand. It's very nice. It adds a little bit more girth to a very thin profile knife, and you're still locked in with that same contouring on the back, the way that it slants down, but is straight here. You have plenty to grip onto. You got a nice cutout for the finger there. It's a really good spot. I still go to the very front of that with my finger to try to get as close as I can to that sharpening choil so that when I'm doing power cuts, push cuts, it works really well. It still has that same great modified sheep foot blade. Really good for utility cuts, draw cuts. For the pinch grip, this is outstanding. I actually demonstrate that here in a little bit when we go down to the garage for the cuts. The action is just as good. You're not going to feel a big difference here outside of the contouring. You'll notice that a little bit around the button, it feels a little bit more flush, not quite as proud. You may like that, you may not like that, but you can definitely feel a difference. Did I take this one apart and clean it? Man, I can't remember if I took it apart and cleaned it. It has a little bit of side-to-side play, and I think it was because it was a little too tight when I first got it. Okay, I can't tell if the other side's moving. Yeah, the other side's moving, so we'll do that adjustment later off camera. A little bit of side-to-side, little bit of up and down lock rock. Truthfully, that happened on my other version of this knife. And what happened is, as the lock broke in and it moved over more, the spring pushed it over more by using it, carrying it, opening and closing it. That went away. It went back to being solid. So I kind of experienced that, like it's kind of like it starts to move, and then you get like this little clicking. You can't visibly see the blade moving, but you can feel the clicking. And then that went away. And I did check. I'm not going to do it a bunch because that does damage the locks when you're pounding it in. the blade is hitting into the plunge lock and it's denting it. So I don't want to do that a lot because it will create lock rock when you do that with your knife. So like I would suggest once you've tested it and you feel confident, don't continue to do that because it will damage the knife. And if you try to claim it on warranty, they'll be able to tell that there was impact damage because it's going to be like this flat spot, or it's going to make it start to look oval. Everything, like I said, is pretty much the same. Let's go ahead and kick it down to the garage and I'll walk you through that. Okay, we're down in the garage, and full disclosure on this one, the factory edge when I first started this test had a little bit of a chip in it on the belly. So I did take it in. I decided to strop it. It is still the factory edge, but it is freshly stropped. So I do want to disclose that. But let's just see how the factory edge with the strop holds up. So let's go ahead and check it on the paper. No more chipping. Feels like it's, you know, moving through the paper a little bit better now. Again, you know, I didn't go all in trying to get into like a laser sharp edge, but it does feel probably about what the factory edge felt like. And that might have been my fault. It could have been because I was opening packages and stuff before I did this test. I could have cut into something that caused that. So I'm going to run it through. You can see here, sorry, wrong side, single ply cardboard. We're just going to cut through this a few times, and then we're going to take it back over to the paper and just see what that factory edge on the belt grind feels like after we get through this cardboard here. And as you can see, this is an absolute laser beam. See, there's something there that it's catching on already. But it is an absolute laser beam. Yeah, something right there really hard. It moves through the material so good, guys. And ergonomically, it's so comfortable on hand, easy to manipulate. I can't tell you how much I really like this model from CJRB for EDC, for all your cutting tasks. I mean, it absolutely just destroys this cardboard, guys. Just destroys it. I really like it a lot. Let's just really quick, let's clean it off in case I ran across any stickers or anything that might have gotten caught on it. The edge looks like it held up pretty well from the strop. You can see there where I was cutting in the middle. You see where it's really shining. That's where I was cutting with it. And there you go. Much, much better performance this time around with that chip gone. You can see it's tearing a little bit, but I also fully admit, as the paper holds, that I didn't strop it to perfection. I just wanted to touch it up just enough. I didn't want to remove too much material because I really wanted to try to keep it as factory fresh as possible. But what I'll do really quick is I'll strap it up and we'll see how it goes through the rest of that paper. We'll be right back. All right, so you can see there, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I had been using the knife a little bit, so I don't know if that was on me or if it arrived a little bit more toothy, but it was kind of snagging the paper. So I just decided to redo that video after I originally filmed it because it was kind of snagging, even though there was no difference when you saw the cutting through the cardboard or whatever. Once I went ahead and just stropped the S90V and did like a clean start, it's a factory edge. It's just been stropped to get rid of any of the toothiness that was there that was catching up on the paper. As you saw, it went through the paper with no issues whatsoever. I ran it through the cardboard, the draw cuts, and went back to the paper, and it performed just fine. And I just want to advise that this is a cut test to demonstrate how it performed going through those materials, how the factory edge performed, and how I feel about the knife ergonomically while using it through cutting. It is not a edge retention test. I just want to be clear on that. It is just a cutting test to show you how it performs, how it feels. It is not meant to demonstrate the edge retention, I would take it through a lot more tests than what I showed here today on that particular video, and I'll probably do edge retention test versus cutting test on my channel to differentiate the two. But it is just to let you know, like, this thing, just like the last one, really comfortable on hand, fantastic geometry, very good slicer, a very solid lock. The locks for the knives from CJRB do not tend to fail. They tend to feel a little bit sticky. They have the very, and I think it's already starting to go away. The lock rock is gone. So again, if you start to feel it a little bit, I would say just, continue to fidget with it a little bit longer, because I noticed it a couple days ago, but it is, yeah, it's locked up solid now. Unfortunately, the blade finish is a fingerprint magnet, but I do like the way that it looks when it's clean. The inlay transitions are really well done. I'm not feeling, I can feel a difference in what the material feels like, but I can't feel the transitions for the inlay. It's really well done. Again, I really like their pocket clip. It works well, looks good, very tasteful. I'm just really happy with it. I'm really happy with the way it performs. It's a fantastic knife, sentimental value. It's a gift from my wife. Just really happy. I like this model, whether you're getting the steel AR RPM 9 version, whether you're getting the Line-A-Lock version with the micarta and G10, whether you're getting the titanium with the AR RPM 9, which is still under $100. And they've definitely fine-tuned their AR RPM 9. I noticed with the other versions that I've had, the edge retention's better. The edge itself from the factory is slicey. It feels like they've really dialed in, and that's great to see. As the company continues to exist and grow, they are continuing to refine and improve. So I'm really happy about that. I got this during Black Friday, $180. Artisan 10 got 10% off. My link down below to take you over there. It does help when you click the link if you're going to buy it anyway, and that Artisan 10 code was working the last time I checked it. So if it's in the future, I'm sorry if it's not working anymore, but it took 10% off, which really brought this price down. It's cheaper than the Miguron Kyrex and the Vosteed Datsun with M390, and this is S90V titanium. I mean, that's a really good deal under $200. I cannot believe you can get it that cheap, and I don't know how long it'll stay that cheap, but it's a really, really good bargain. And S90V at 59 to 61 is actually the ideal heat range. So this is going to perform really well. It's not going to be too chippy. It's not going to be, it's not going to lose its edge quickly. It's going to be a great knife. But let me know down in the comments below, what did you think about the changes that they made for this particular model? I've been waiting for this one. I love the little bit of pop of color, but if you don't like that, they have the solid titanium with the jigging on it. That looks good too. I was tempted, but I like a little bit of pop, man. Just a little splash, not too much, and sometimes a lot. Shout out to everyone out there that uses the links, likes, comments, and is subscribed. I appreciate the support. I love you guys for all the help and support with the channel. I hope you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.